Hi, my name's Tosbo. What's on your mind?
Good morning. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about job interviews and the fact that they're fucking scary. Now the thing is you've probably noticed that there's no intro of some GoPro footage of me riding a bike. That's because the weather outside is particularly bad, but I wanted to record a video today. So here I am on my sofa recording a video. Now I first want to explain my experience with one of my last job interviews, in fact, and I went for a logistical lead position, and at the time I was a training coordinator. Now I went for the interview not knowing that it was going to be my current manager being the interviewing manager and one of the top dog bosses. And when I found that out, I was a bit like, well, that's that fucked. So what I did is I made it clear in my head that I wasn't going to get the job, but what I'm actually going to do is go for the interview to get the interview experience. Awesome. So it was all done online, so I did my research, I came up with my points, but I didn't put too much effort into it because I was like, at the end of the day, I know I haven't got this job. In fact, I even got told by one of the big managers that the job isn't for me, and I was like, cheers, bud. But anyway, I sat down, I joined the meeting, and I was like, hello boss, hello current manager, how are you? And in my head I'm going, what's the point of even worrying about this, because I haven't got the job. And I did my job, I did my interview, and at the end my manager stayed on. He said, alright, bye big boss, I'm going to stay on and have a word with Tosbo. So off he went, and he said, mate, that was better than the interview you did for this current job, your coordinator job, and that was the most confident I've ever seen you. And I was like, yeah mate, it's because I know I'm not going to get the job. And he was like, oh, well you should take that forward into other job interviews that you go for then. So my advice to start is to not worry about it. Oh, cheers, yeah, end of the video, nice one, alright, thank you. No, okay. But the point of that story was the fact that my best ever interview, I've interviewed for the military, which if you've joined the military or currently in the military, you know that ain't difficult anyway. I've interviewed for labouring jobs, sign building jobs, training jobs, security jobs, and that logistic lead job was the best interview I ever did, purely because I thought to myself, I know I haven't got this job anyway, so what's the point of even trying? And it turns out that was the best I've ever performed. Now, what I'm going to say to you is, don't set yourself up. What I'm going to say to you is, don't set yourself up with just one singular interview if it's possible. Try and set yourself up with multiple different interviews. And the reason for that is, if you have multiple different opportunities going forward, then your brain will hopefully think, I don't need to worry too much about this one, because I've also got that one to rely on as well. So the reason I didn't panic is because I knew I had a job no matter what at the end of it. So if you're looking for a job and you haven't got a job currently, try and set yourself up with another interview. Think of it like having 2 or 3 backup interviews as well. Have the main job that you want, awesome, happy days, but have some backup jobs, you know, like shelf stacking, things like that. Yeah, alright. A few of you out there will be like, well surely that's wasting the interviewer's time. They've got a job, you haven't. Fuck them. It's true. You're after a job, they've already got a job. And do you know what? All 3 of them might turn around and say, yeah, right, we want you. And then you can pick and choose your job, which feels incredible. You're going to need that boost in your life. It's great. Let me tell you, it's absolutely sparklingly lovely. But 2 of them might turn around and say, yeah, right, here's a job offer. Or 1 of them might turn around and say, here's a job offer. Or, unfortunately, all of them might turn around and say no. Or, like most places nowadays, they just won't get back to you. And yeah, that feels crap. And that's the anxiety that a lot of people face is, what happens if they say no? Well, you didn't get that job. There's plenty of places online where you can find other jobs. There's jobs going everywhere. They're just not necessarily good jobs. And I'll always stick by that. There's jobs everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. There's cashier jobs if you feel that way inclined. There's shelf stacking jobs. There's becoming a barista or barista, depending on where you're from. We've got like your coffee shops and stuff like that. McDonald's, other fast food restaurants. Yeah, it's not glory jobs, and it's definitely not amazing pay, but I'm sorry, but what is nowadays? So, find yourself a job interview if you can, and go for multiple. Even if you're going for some big wig manager job for this interview, get another interview doing something like shelf stacking, and another one for a fast food restaurant, and another one working in retail. No, don't get me wrong, I'm by no means saying that they're like lower tier jobs, but if you're in your head thinking that I myself know that I'm a manager person, and I myself know that I wouldn't want to do a retail job, interview for it anyway, because they might say absolutely yes, you know, your qualifications far outweigh what we need, so perfect, we need you. But it also mean that when you go for that interview that you're like, right, let's do this, that you're going to be feeling a little bit less anxiety ridden, hopefully, because you've got other backup things going. Like I said earlier, the reason that I wasn't worried about that interview is because A, I knew we didn't have it, and B, because I already had a job anyway, in the same company. Now the thing is every interviewing manager has a heartbeat, has a brain, hopefully, has a set of lungs, has a heartbeat, has blood going around their system. Guess what? So do you. You're all human beings. You, whoever's on the interview panel, are all human beings. There is no difference between yourself and them. The whole imagine them naked thing, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna go red, you're gonna feel embarrassed, or you might get a hard on. And let me tell you, getting a hard on in an interview is probably not a good idea. You do you, boo. That's absolutely fine. I just wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it depends what job you're going for, really. But set yourself up with as many job interviews as you can, in as close proximity as you can. You're not going to need time to get over it. Unless you have crippling anxiety, you're not going to need time to get over the interview. Set yourself up with loads of different ones in succession, because the more you do, the more used to it you get. Do you know how I got over my fear of heights? Exposure therapy. I started climbing. I started abseiling. And when I started abseiling, that moment that you go off the edge is the worst part. Then it's fine. I then worked out that my fear of heights is actually a fear of falling, which everyone has, which I've explained in a previous video. But exposing myself to heights, exposing myself to climbing, and exposing myself to abseiling made me get over my fear of heights. Now don't get me wrong, I still have a small fear of heights, but now I find enjoyment in it because I'm a psycho apparently. But exposing yourself to multiple different interviews will be the best way to get over interview anxiety. Don't make the job interview the one, done and all. Try and set yourself up with as many as possible. They're all just normal people, just like myself, just like you watching this or listening to this, and just like anyone else in this world. You're all normal people, having normal lives. You're all going to go home, possibly switch the kettle on, make yourself a brew, cup of coffee, cup of tea, have a pint of water, or just have a pint of whatever you want. You all do exactly the same thing when you get home. You all go home, you sit on your bed, or you sit on your sofa, or you sit on your computer, or you sit in front of the PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever you play. If you play. You're all exactly the same. So don't worry about it. Said. You know, that's a little bit like saying, if you're depressed, cheer up. But the best thing is to force yourself not to worry about it by not making it your one and done. You know, job interviews are fucking scary. By no means am I saying that they're not scary. Like I said, I've had to be interviewed for a different job by my manager for my current job. That is scary, because he's sat there going, well, now I know that your potential was a lot more than what you're telling me. So, where's it gone, sunshine? Let's have some more of that. So, recap. Book yourself multiple interviews. Don't fucking imagine them naked. Expose yourself to multiples, because exposure therapy, in my view, is the best kind of way of getting over that anxiety. And realise, the most important one, realise that we're all human beings. Doesn't matter what your title is. That billionaire over there and that person who's homeless living on the streets, you both have a heartbeat. You're both the same person. You're both living on this green earth. You're not more important than them, and they aren't more important than you. We are all equals. And the sooner people start realising that, the sooner people start realising that everyone on this earth is trying to do the same thing, which is live to the next day, the sooner you'll start to feel a little bit more at ease with talking to different people. Because that's what the main anxiety is. How the hell do I sell myself? Not many interviewers will go, sell yourself to me. You picked my CV, you saw my cover letter and went, that's the person. Is that not enough? I've never been to a job interview where someone says, sell yourself to me. Granted, I've never been for a sales interview. No one's going to sit there and be like, you do all the talking. You get asked questions, and you answer questions, and at the end, you get the chance to ask questions. Now, here's my next point. Those final questions at the end, utilise them, please. Please do utilise them, because it makes you out to be a very good person if you ask them, right? And a lot of them are difficult questions to ask. If you don't already know, how many holidays do you get? The pay. A lot of the time they don't tell you the pay. They say it's competitive. Well, what the fuck does that mean? So ask them what competitive means. Ask them what your expectations are. Ask them what their expectations are of you within the first 3 to 6 months. Ask them how long the probation period is. And ask them about sick pay. The last one, I'm a little bit like, maybe don't do, maybe do. That's up to you. But maybe come across it as like, not that I'm expecting to use it, but how does sick pay work in this place? If your job is not salaried. Now, asking your ballsy questions like that are going to make them think, oh, they've got some wits about them. Perfect, ideal. If you don't already know the questions for those. Also, be honest with interview questions. Why did you go for this job? Every interview I've ever said, money has always come up in that. Why did you go for this job? Well, money. What do you mean by that? Either A, is a step up in pay. Of course, I'm going to go for a promotion if I feel I can do it. The pay's better, my responsibilities are better, I want more responsibilities, I want better pay, and depending on the hours, I want better hours or whatever. And I know that I can support your company in the way that you want to be supported in that job role. I know that I will fit the shoe for that company. Okay, cool. That makes sense. You don't need to come up with these big elaborate things. Fucking money. They know it's money. Why do you think they're in that job? Money. Why do you think that person's in that job? Money. Why do you think the CEO of whatever business is in that job? Money. If the money was less, would they still be there? Don't fucking think so. Be honest with them. It's fucking money, mate. I do. Cheers. Thank you for being honest. Yeah, no dramas, mate. I've got a family member who recently went for a sales job. Why are you going for this? Well, you know, I've been doing stuff around the same industry for most of my life. In fact, all of my life. It's something I've always wanted to do. I just never did it. And the money's better. Yes, Sam, mate. Welcome to the team. They've got no experience in doing that particular job. They've just got particular experience in the industry. And now, I dropped them off at their first day at work. And I felt fucking great for doing it. Thank you very much for listening to my rant about job interviews and how they can be scary and my tips and advice on how to deal with them. I'm going to take this moment to say that I do have a Twitch account. I do have podcasts out now. Every video that I make gets turned into a podcast and then put onto Spotify. I've got a donations thing if you would like to use it. If not, honestly, it's no worry at all. Any donations are greatly accepted. Don't get me wrong, as I said earlier, money's great, but at the same time, I wouldn't be uploading these things for free if I expected money. I've even got merch. The merch is slowly growing. There's different random things. You can get hoodies, you can get jogging bottoms. But yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video or listening to this podcast. It's been awesome. Sorry that I've been sat on a sofa. It's just the weather's not really great outside. I'm getting a bit fogged up now, so I'm probably going to end the video. I can't actually see anything. So yeah, you have yourself a wonderful day. It's been great to see you back. And if it's your first video, welcome to my channel. And have a great day. Thank you.